You're holding a phone right now that has more computing power than the machines that landed humans on the moon. Feels pretty impressive. Congratulations! You are still smaller compared to the universe than a single grain of sand is to every beach on every coastline of every planet that has ever existed, anywhere, ever. And it gets worse from here. Look up. Not later, right now, in your head. Punch straight through the ceiling, past the airplanes, past the weather, past that thin, fragile smear of atmosphere that is the only reason you're not currently freeze-drying in a vacuum. You're in space now. You have about 15 seconds of usable consciousness left without a suit, and you haven't even left the neighborhood yet. That's not a metaphor. That's the actual commute. Here's what nobody tells you about space being empty. It's not peaceful. It's just indifferent. There's a difference. Peaceful implies it's not trying to do anything to you. Indifferent means it will absolutely still kill you, it just won't enjoy it. Step outside a spacecraft without a suit and the moisture on your tongue and eyes starts boiling within seconds. Not because it's hot, but because there's no pressure to keep it liquid. You don't explode, contrary to every movie that needed a dramatic death scene. You just swell a little. Black out from oxygen starvation in about 15 seconds, and your body is fully clinically dead in around 90. No fire, no fanfare, just very efficient paperwork. But that's just low orbit. That's the porch. We haven't even gotten to the yard. The moon is about 240,000 miles away, and light, the fastest thing that exists, the thing that makes literally everything you can see seeable, takes about 1.5 seconds to cross that gap. Feels quaint. Give it a minute. The sun is 93 million miles out, and its light takes about 8 minutes to reach you, meaning every time you see a sunrise, you're not watching it happen, you're watching a rerun. The actual event finished airing 8 minutes before you noticed. If the sun switched off right now, you'd get 8 more minutes of morning before anyone found out. Good news? You'd have time to finish your coffee. Bad news, so would every other unfortunate detail of your morning routine. Uninterrupted, blissfully unaware, it's already over. Now leave the solar system. The nearest star to the sun, Proxima Centauri, is 4.2 light-years away. At the speed of our fastest current spacecraft, that trip takes somewhere in the ballpark of 70,000 years. Not a typo. Your descendants, several thousand generations removed, might arrive to find absolutely nothing worth the trip, because Proxima Centauri isn't confirmed to have anything habitable. It's just close. Close, on a cosmic scale, is a joke with no punchline. Zoom out further. Your entire solar system, sun, planets, moons, that one photo of Earth everyone gets emotional about, is a rounding error inside the Milky Way, a galaxy roughly 100,000 light-years across. That means light, again, the fastest thing in existence, takes 100,000 years just across your own galaxy corner to corner. A commercial jet at cruising speed would need something like 100 million years to make that trip. That's not your commute to work. That's not even your city. That's just the building you live in, and you haven't left the lobby. Good news, the Milky Way contains somewhere between 100 and 400 billion stars, so odds are decent that a few of them have planets doing something interesting. Bad news, even if one of them is broadcasting a hello, and even if you knew exactly where to point it, the reply, round trip, could take longer than human civilization has existed. You'd send the message as a birthday gift for nobody currently alive or dead or born. Now, here's where it stops being merely large and starts being actively disrespectful. The Milky Way is one galaxy. Estimates put the number of galaxies in the observable universe somewhere around 2 trillion. Not stars, galaxies. Each one carrying its own 100 billion plus stars, its own planets, its own tiny doomed civilizations, possibly having this exact same identity crisis right now, except the light carrying that crisis to you hasn't arrived yet, and by the time it does, they might not exist anymore, and neither might you. The observable universe, meaning the part we can actually detect, the part whose light has had time to reach us since the beginning of everything, is about 93 billion light-years across. Not 93 billion miles, 93 billion years at the speed of light, corner to corner. The universe itself is only about 13.8 billion years old, which means that number shouldn't even be mathematically possible if the universe were just sitting still. It isn't sitting still. Space itself has been stretching this entire time, like the world's most poorly funded elastic band, dragging galaxies apart faster than the light between them can keep up. Which brings us to the actual bad news of this episode. There's a boundary out there called the cosmic horizon, and past it, galaxies are receding from us faster than light can travel. Not because they're moving fast through space, nothing can outrun light through space, that rule still holds, but because space itself is expanding between here and there faster than light can close the gap. Practically speaking, that means there are galaxies out there, right now, that you will never see, never detect, never photograph, no matter how good your telescope gets, no matter how long humanity survives. They didn't go anywhere. The universe just quietly repossessed them from your subscription and didn't bother sending a cancellation notice. Good news? You technically live inside a universe with trillions of galaxies and unfathomable scale. Bad news, you have permanent, physics-enforced access to a smaller and smaller fraction of it every year, and there's no customer service line to complain to. Here's a fact that tends to break people a little. Because light takes time to travel, looking into deep space is looking into the past. When telescopes photograph galaxies billions of light years away, they aren't seeing them as they are, they're seeing them as they were billions of years ago, before some of those galaxies may have already collided, died, or gone dark. You're not looking at the universe, you're looking at its baby photos, except the baby might already be middle-aged or gone, and you'll find out on a delay measured in geological time. And yet, and this is the part that actually should keep you up tonight, despite 2 trillion galaxies, despite hundreds of billions of stars per galaxy, despite what should be an almost embarrassing abundance of opportunity, we have exactly 0 confirmed evidence of anyone else out there. Not a signal, not a probe, not a suspicious blinking light with good intentions. Either the universe is so hostile that complex life is a statistical fluke happening approximately once, or it's so vast that everyone else is simply too far away, too early, or too late to ever overlap with you in time. Both options are frankly upsetting in different ways. Because here's the part that makes your existence borderline absurd. You didn't just get lucky with space, you got lucky with time. The elements in your body, the calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen you're currently taking for granted, weren't part of the early universe. The first stars were almost entirely hydrogen and helium, boring, forgettable stuff. It took generations of massive stars living fast, dying violently, and detonating as supernovae to forge and scatter heavier elements across space. You are quite literally made of the wreckage of stellar explosions that had to happen first, in the right order, at the right time, seeding the right patch of galaxy, before a planet like yours could even be assembled. You weren't born into the universe, you were built from its debris, several failed drafts later. Then your star had to be exactly the right type, not too big because massive stars burn hot and fast and die within a few million years, nowhere near long enough for anything complicated to evolve. Not too small either, or you'd need to orbit so close for warmth that tidal forces would eventually lock one side of your planet into permanent day and the other into permanent night. You needed a star patient enough to burn steadily for billions of years, and a planet parked in the painfully narrow band of distance, the so-called Goldilocks zone, where water can exist as a liquid instead of instantly freezing or boiling off into space. Move Earth a little closer to the sun, you get a runaway greenhouse and a surface hot enough to melt lead. Move it a little farther, and you get a frozen rock with an atmosphere too thin to hold on to any warmth at all. You are occupying a gap so narrow it barely qualifies as a neighborhood. Good news, against all of that, it actually worked.
Bad news, it worked exactly once, as far as anyone can currently prove, in a universe so large that exactly once might statistically be the expected outcome, rather than a miracle. So the next time your Wi-Fi buffers for 4 seconds and it ruins your entire day, remember this: you are a temporary arrangement of exploded star matter sitting on a rock in the barely habitable strip of a solar system inside one galaxy out of 2 trillion, inside a universe so large that most of it is now permanently unreachable and expanding away from you faster than the fastest thing in existence can follow. Everything had to go right in sequence for an unreasonably long time just so you could exist long enough to be mildly inconvenienced by buffering. Comment below and let me know honestly, which part of this actually sits worse with you? The fact that most of the observable universe is running away from you faster than light can chase it? Or the fact that everything you see in the night sky might already be gone and you're just watching the delayed broadcast? Pin your answer, argue with a stranger about it, whatever gets the algorithm's attention. And if you made it this far without needing to lie down for a minute, subscribe. In a universe this indifferent, this expansive, and this thoroughly unbothered by your existence, the least you can do is grow one number that's actually rooting for you.